Yes, people. What's going on? Welcome back to Saeed TV and welcome to the debate show. We are live on Saturday evening. Big up to everybody who's locked in right now. Please do smash a like button on the video. Big up to everybody who's celebrating Christmas as well. I hope you enjoy your festivity as well. Big up to the community. We got man like Marcel in the building. Marcel, what are you telling me? No to get slandered today. No to get slandered today. Come on.
No, not today. I'm not in the mood for that. I feel like I'm beyond that slander anyway. You know, at the end of the day, I think everyone kind of knows what direction I'm going in with that kind of thing. But season's greetings to everyone and good evening. I'm obviously excited about the next game against Forest on Tuesday, and hopefully good debate today about the next transfers.
Absolutely. We got a man like Planet Fast in the building. Planet Fast with the merch. Make sure you go and get your merch, people. Or
you can't get your merch. You can't. It's not acceptable. You can't get the merch.
So what's the point of the merch? Then?
Create the demand and then supply. You know what I'm saying? Don't just supply without the demand. Yeah. It's just a 1-2 for myself, really. That's it.
Come on, man. But it's good to see you as well. And then we got man like Daddy Suave tonight. Christmas Eve and he's looking suave tonight. What's going on?
Oh, man. Got to go to the in-laws for a little party after this, isn't it? So I'm ready. I tried to get ahead of the game and get the shirt on early. You know what? Speaking of merch, I'm glad Faz is wearing clothes today. I'm glad he's not topless, isn't it?
Bro, World Cup, bro. If that game was not making you sweat, I think you weren't watching it properly, bro. That game was making you sweat, bro.
Absolutely, man. But listen, people, big up to everybody's locked in. Make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. But you know what, man? It's been a crazy 24 hours, man. Marcel, we've been linked with João Felix. We've been linked a very, very, surprising story yesterday coming out with Enzo Fernandes. Obviously, the goalie Gakpo still going as well. United are set to possibly go in for him as well. What are you making of this, man? There's a lot of money there, There's a lot of situations going on there for United. What are you saying, really?
There's a lot of noise. A lot of noise. That's the kind of thing that happens when you're talking about the best club in the world. A lot of noise. We always get speculation around transfer time, and it's about really holding in our focus and our mindset about what our manager wants, or at least trying to think around that kind of thoughts. What our manager wants, put into context, obviously, the financial situation of the club as well. But I think it's just those kind of things that we need to look at, not these hyper-inflated stories, and just see which one makes the most sense. Can we really afford that much money right now for a certain amount of players at this time in the season? I don't think so. And when you consider the potential consortiums coming in for the club and those kind of things, you want to be making sensible decisions in the market. And I think Ten Hag's sensible decision in the market would be the one that I think is most likely to happen, which I think everyone kind of understands or feels which one would most likely happen. And we'll just see how that can best benefit the club, I think. The other two are kind of dreams or hopes or summer deals. I would say the other two, and I'm talking about João Felix and Enzo Fernandes in particular, I think those two look more like summer decisions that the club will make, but they're still fantastic players that can add to our team in many ways.
I'm going to bring you, Danny, next. Obviously, you're always very keen on sources. What did you make of this yesterday when it came out? Man United overtaking Liverpool in the race. Fernandes. Sorry?
They started to know me too well. As soon as I saw this, I Googled this guy. I went on Google and I put Portuguese journalist tier list. It's the first thing I did. Okay. I couldn't find anything on this, right? And in on the threads in Twitter, you can't tell if someone's reliable based on what other people are saying. So I don't know how reliable this is. This is what I do know, though, and I agree literally with every single word that Marcel said there. What Ten Hag is going to do this January is complete his summer shopping list that was incomplete. And all that was missing from that list was an attacker and a right back. That's it. That was all. If he was going to do anything else in the summer, he would have got a versatile forward because Ronaldo was staying, but he wanted a forward, so he would have got a Gakpo anyway. And he would have got a right back. And everybody knows that right back is probably Gusto or Frimpong or Bayern. More likely Gusto, though. So if Wan-Bissaka gets moved on, Ronaldo's already gone, I expect Gakpo and Gusto to come in. If Wan-Bissaka goes, I expect Gusto to come in, and that'll be our January business done. And even if he would have got De Jong side and say Eriksen, he'd still be dipping into the summer window for midfielder anyway. So it's just Yeah, I don't think
does that are you okay with that fee? That's a lot of money, 120 million euros. What would that be? About 95 million?
I've got to a point where I don't care about the transfer. I don't care what we spend if we get the right player. So what people miss about this summer, Saeed, is if we see those players we've got, apart from Casemiro, all of those players were on the list at the beginning. If we get them cheaper, Joe Glazer doesn't release any more money. We don't. People seem to think we would have had 7, 8. No, Joe Glazer would have said, "You've got your list." Maybe we would have got Gakpo and Gusto. That's it. That's it. We don't buy
one now. We don't buy Bayern Munich in for him now. Bayern Munich in for him. They're moving in for Gusto.
And then maybe we go for Mazzarri. But yeah, I don't care about the transfer fee. If he's the right player, no one cares after the fact. That's how football works.
What are you saying, Faz? Enzo Fernandes. For me, this is my kind of number one target in the summer. I don't think we're going to get him in January. I spoke to Ben Jacobs. Even he said in the summer, it might not be a feasible possibility because he's just coming to the football club. Benfica probably won't sell him. But again, that release clause is what's making it look like something that's a real, genuine possibility. And if you play the release clause, you get your man because at the end of the day, there's nothing stopping Benfica from holding him back. There's a release clause there. You've met it and you get him.
For me, I don't even think it could be one of two things. One is just paper talk, first and foremost. It could just be general paper talk. Enzo Fernandes being linked to Man United, being linked to Liverpool. It makes more sense Liverpool being linked with them than us for that price as well. On top of that, if you go back and check what Murta and Arnold said before, they said we're not going to be this type of you're not going to see this type of activity that we've just done this summer, 220 million going forward next summer. You're not. Because which club spends 220 million whilst being in Europa League, and they're looking for investment, and the money don't dry out. So they said that publicly in an interview.
That's not what they said.
No, that's what the interview said. Murta and Arnold. Was it Murta or Arnold? We're not going to be this active. We're ahead of progression or something. We're ahead of our plan.
So it was the investors call, one interview. So he said to investors, we won't see this level of activity. Man United crybabies on Twitter, because if they only think, they've got very, small minds, thought of the transfer budget, right? So that's where that comes from. You're looking at people's responses on Twitter. What Murta said to investors was level of activity, which includes people leaving. Yeah, you've never seen that many people leave Man United in one summer.
A lot of people left for free.
And then
a lot of high-value players left for free. So
exactly. So when he says level of transfer activity, he's not speaking just on the numbers. We know that already. But he's also speaking of the volume. 7 man in, 7 man out. That's not going to be happening this summer. That's what he was speaking to. So be positive, Saf. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Just be positive.
Where do we get, for example, where do we actually find the money for a player like Enzo Fernandes and
you have to sell. You have to sell.
The question is, I'm sure we can attract the players, but I'm in a space where I want to know where's the money coming from. Because that's more important to me at this point than the players itself. Because how long are we going to keep saying Glazer's out? But then when the player comes, we're all shaking our backside, but actually not sitting back and saying, hold on a second. Fred actually isn't going to PSG for 30 million, is he? Like, he's actually not left, is he? Donny van der Beek hasn't actually been approached. Wan-Bissaka's transfer fee hasn't been established. So where's the money coming from? Where do we go and spend on a Gakpo, on a Felix, on a loan, whatever you want to call, on a Enzo? And then people are now saying we want to, somewhat of a keeper as well. I'm sure Ten Hag is ironing out options. Is this something that in the background they've identified an investment and they haven't released the information to the public yet? Maybe they will. It could mean that. It could mean that Manchester United, that there's talks of Enzo Fernandes just to cover up that there's actually talks with Frankie de Jong. That could happen because we were talking with Rabiot for how long and whatever, and then boom came Casemiro. So it could happen. It could be a diversion as well. For now, I just feel like it's normal transfer talk until January comes through. They're just trying to warm up the people. That's what I.
You know what though? So you've already got an indication. Faz ain't wrong about the budget. Like Murta didn't say that, but common sense says we're not going to spend another 260 mil. So Ten Hag has to prioritize, right, within whatever the budget is going to be. If we get Champions League football, things are more positive. We're getting to a stage now where the assets we're going to look to sell are a little bit better than in previous years. Whether people like it or not, Harry Maguire is a better asset to sell than someone like Eric Bailly, who's injury prone, etc., etc. Like, it's just we'll probably get a reasonable fee from Maguire if Joe Glazer isn't an idiot about it. Beyond that, though, the fact that they're extending De Gea, to reduce his wages, that tells me Ten Hag knows, okay, I don't have the budget for a £60 million goalkeeper this summer, so let me keep De Gea. So he's going to prioritize other positions. So I would have put it past him. Blow. You can blow 100. Listen, if he gets Gakpo, who's going to be playing left wing, we'll talk about that later, and then he spends 100 mil, right? Maybe he sells Sancho. You don't know.
And you have to consider as well, once, if and when, God willing, fingers crossed, we make it into Champions League, there's obviously concerns about our sponsors leaving or whatever that situation. Who's going to be the new sponsor? How much money are they making? Has the club already identified that they're going to bring new investor plus a sponsor, and the budget is there to go and attack the players? I just want to know. I know this information is not to hand, but I just kind of want to be a bit more certain rather than just being another saga of, we're getting this player, yay, 100 million, let's go, and then we'll come to shove, we're not getting nobody, and players are leaving for chicken change.
Let's say they don't want to blow. Let's say they don't want to blow 100 million on a midfielder. Fine, go get Lafi, go get Kone. There's 40, 50 million pound midfielders out there that you could buy as well. If you don't want to blow the 100 million. Yeah, there's players out there.
I think that's what Ten Hag brings, though. He brings that clever, acute business at the end of the day. He knows the Eredivisie market, which is a lot cheaper than, the other markets or what other managers that were touted to come in replacement of Ole, like Poch. They know markets with bigger, more illustrious footballers like PSG, those kind of markets. So I think Ten Hag can do that. Find players, find niche players, and find clever signings like Malacia. And get them to develop into our team. Just on that, though, in terms of what Mert is saying about the reduction that will be happening in terms of transfer activity the next summer, what do we expect then? Is it a lot more selling or a lot more buying? Which one would it be? Which one do you guys think?
Sell, bro. Sell.
Sell who? Sorry.
Bro, sell anybody.
In general. Because if Mert is saying to us that, I'm not saying yes or no to anything, Faz. I'm just saying if Mert is saying to us that the activity as a whole, whether it's outgoings and ingoings, like Danny's mentioned, if that's all as a whole going to reduce, what do you then prioritize yourself on? Do you look to sell players in the hope that you can then get a profit and then turn over and make the clever acute signings, like I say, I think Ten Hag can do, and then we make profits that way? We're doing clever business, one in, one out. Or we just going to add players to this and
no, don't stop adding.
Do you know what it is?
This is very short-term thinking.
Do you know what it is? It was an investor call. So you're dealing with investors. So you understand, Marcel. There were 15 first-team transfer transactions. 15. Yeah. That's me going off memory. It could be more because I can't remember exactly how many players left. I know 6 man came in. So roughly 14, 15 transfer transactions were done. It's not going to be that. Whether you go, how you balance it in or out, it don't matter. It's not going to be that high. It's probably going to be at best 4 or 5 man leaving, and some of those man might be youth players. I'm talking 2, 3 first team players leaving. So Fred, so Maguire, who won't stick around if he's not playing. Who else would leave? I don't know actually. Who else?
Get rid of Lindelof. Get rid of
2 centre back. I'm not going to get my hopes about 2 centre backs leaving, but it's going to be 2, 3 players leaving.
I mean, Dubravka's going to go, right? Pelestri's going to go. Pelestri's not happy at all.
Okay, so now we're getting to 4 or 5 players.
They're not sellable assets as well. How much
I'm expecting maybe 4 players in, but quality side. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, quality. Quality.
So Danny, you mentioned obviously the hopefully the asset of the actual asset itself. For example, Maguire will be a little bit more. We're selling that a little bit higher. So then, what do you think we'll be able to ascertain next summer? A guess. You're giving a guess here, Danny, because it is a guess. You wouldn't know. But how much?
Maguire?
Do you think no, not even just for Maguire, for Pelestri, altogether. How much do you think?
100 million.
Because I think as a club, we're not good enough. Guys, at making money through sales.
We're not.
This all depends. This all depends of how nice Ten Hag can make some of these players play. At the start of the season, people were saying McTominay stocks are like this. What's going on? If we can have a trajectory where we package these players well enough, you will hear talks of Fred for 30 million. You will hear talks of McTominay. No, I'm just if we can package it. I'm just saying it depends on the rest of the season. If Man United
look at the wages, look at the wages.
Forget that. No. Forget. Push that aside.
More than 18 million for Fred.
I know. The fact is, The fact is, I know. But what I'm saying is, if Manchester United make it to top 4, God willing, then it makes it a bit more sellable. That's all I'm trying to say. It makes it sellable. And when was the last time some of these players were sellable? Not, I can't remember. So make these players sellable and sell a cash in while you can. Forget the loss and profit and all of that. Just cash in, and then you recycle and you start a new. We're trying to build a new identity. To build a new identity, we need a new squad. A lot of these players have to go.
Quickly, I agree with that, and I think they have to go at a loss as well, Faz. 100% agree with that. But then, if we get into Champions League, Faz, do their wages go up, which makes them harder to sell?
They don't want to leave as well. Then they don't want to leave.
And they get their value now, which we know as fans and supporters. We've been following this club long enough. Their value, once they go 25% up more, that's not value for money, guys. We need to get them. We need to sell them now at a loss. Take that short-term pain. Let Ten Hag come in, make his clever signings, and let's just.
Who would you sell? Who would you sell, Marcel? Who would you sell?
It's a good question, to be honest with you, Said. And I think, to Danny's point, Maguire's one of them that I think must go as soon as possible. I don't want to start the agenda, but De Gea must go as soon as possible.
God damn it.
You have to look at Martial after a while. If he's not, availability is one of your best abilities in the game, and if he's not going to be available, he's wearing our number 9 shirt. You got to look at him after a while. But then again, with the mixture of players, when you got 5 really good footballers competing, Gakpo, if we get him in, Garnacho, Rashford, all competing in and around the forward line, you start to build a decent forward line. So you maybe want Martial in the mix competing for places, but then at some stage you might need to, get rid of him and upgrade. Miles has got it right. I think Fred's in there.
I'd sell Elanga. I'd cash in on Elanga. I'd cash in on.
You can loan him out. You don't really need to sell him. You could just loan him.
Why? But that's the thing. No. But why?
Because it's not a reality though. United are not going to sell Elanga. Like
but we need to. No. This is the point. We need to.
Gakpo is Elanga's replacement. So why?
He's going to be a striker though.
Gakpo's his replacement, Danny?
No, he's not going to be. Listen. I don't want Gakpo, yeah. But again, I'm not a coach. I'm probably going to be wrong. Ten Hag's probably going to be right. My ego's fine with that, yeah. But this is how I'm looking at it, right? This man has averaged 4.5 games a season as a striker since 2016-17. That includes his time at PSV's second team. 4.5 games as a striker.
Development.
So you want to convince me, while Sancho's out in the wilderness in Never Land doing God knows what, we're relying on a young winger in Garnacho. Gakpo comes in, he's not going to play him in his best position when the going gets tough.
So where do you see Rashford then? As
a striker or left wing?
Hold on a minute. So you see
and right wing, but he's playing Marcus Rashford right wing, and we know he's not good there. Saeed, when we first did
development, I can't see the question. Development. You don't believe in Ten Hag.
At the start of the season, when I put up that graphic, did I not tell you Ten Hag is going to do weird shit? I told you he's going to do weird stuff. Yeah. So Rashford's not good right wing. He's playing there. Rashford's not a striker. He's playing there. Stop thinking this manager is going to do things you expect. I'm just getting people to be prepared.
You're not. So why don't you think it's a possibility then that he could play up front?
No, he could play up front. He could play up front.
But you're adamant that he'll play on the left.
Well, look at it like this, yeah? Ten Hag likes Martial. And that's why the Martial situation is a bit sticky. Because do you keep him because you like him, or do you get rid of him because of his injury record and his wages? He'll be due a new contract soon as well, the following summer. That's a sticky situation. But if Martial's fit, which he is at the moment, and Gakpo comes in, you're going to bench Gakpo, your new man.
Someone has to get benched. That's it.
Yeah. Someone does have to get benched.
Okay, but as it stands right now, where is Sancho in this pecking order? That's what I'm trying to explain.
Let's get back to that. Let me just read a couple of super chats because someone's just reminding me.
You're gonna see Gakpo left wing. Tell him man now.
Aminor wants to banter you. Marcel says, Marcel L, what do you think of Dubravka? I think it's very, very dodgy, but it just is what it is.
I think he was poor. I think he's had a few poor games, but he needs a run of games.
No. Tell them what you told us. Be honest. Tell them.
You haven't even let me finish.
No. What did you say? No.
Yeah, what did you say? I'm not aware.
Yes. Let me finish my point. So I think he's been poor, but he hasn't had the run of the games. If we look at the trajectory of De Gea's career, it was very poor at the beginning of the Man United career. But we can clearly see that obviously, you know, Dubravka's not the caliber and not good enough. But if you're talking about refreshing the squad, I would prefer this temporary pain with a goalie that looks like he's worth his price point. David De Gea is not worth his price point at 350.
Nah, that's
Marcel. Hold on, Marcel. During the game,
I'm not finished. 290k a week. He's just quite clearly not that. And for me, we have to look at the bigger picture, where our club wants to go. And when you have a football club, the team plays in the image of the gaffer. Let's just be honest. And when we think of David De Gea, do we think that he plays in the image of the gaffer? The answer is very simply no. The more people that wake up
right now, I'll see. Right now, we're learning. The
more people that wake up to it, the easier it is for us to live with it. And that's all I can say on that matter. And my agenda went as far as to say I would rather somebody that's more acceptable to the price point, the predicament that we're in right now, because we're
still doesn't solve the issue though.
But it gives us a better base to start building on. It gives us a better base to start building on. When you've got
but how's it a better base when you just said that Dubravka ain't it?
Yeah, but so you're looking at right now. I'm looking at further ahead the direction that we want to go in.
He's 33.
But he's got a little bit more better ability and comfortability on the ball, which for me starts the process.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen,
during
that game, during that game, you sent a text saying Dubravka's right leg is hurting him. Your agenda is so deep. Is so deep. You said Dubravka looks uncomfortable. His right leg looks dodgy. There's something he's not feeling well. That's how deep your agenda is.
So before
why didn't you mention that? No, why didn't you mention that?
Before you expose WhatsApp matters, I also said after. Before you expose WhatsApp matters, I also said after that I was joking. I also said after that I was joking. So you have to consider that counterbalance between what Planet Faz is saying here, guys. Consider that counterbalance. I said I was joking.
So why are you Faz doing pillow talk, man? Let's not do pillow talk on streams, man. Leave the WhatsApp.
I said his right leg is dodgy, bro.
That's for barbershop settings. That's for barbershop settings.
So let's go back to Adani's point, because I still don't understand what he means by, you know, Rashford played up front, but then you don't see Gakpo playing there. Elaborate on that. And for me, when you look at Gakpo, if we're not buying a natural striker and he's going for Gakpo, that gives me the inkling that he's trying to trial out Gakpo as a striker. That's what I believe. Because if we're not buying a striker, then we're not relying on Martial to stay fit, surely.
Yeah, but nobody's going to be a permanent striker under Ten Hag.
Yeah.
It's not
permanent. I didn't say permanent.
Yeah, you know what it is. So look, you know how we label saying Malacia is Luke Shaw's replacement. We label these players saying Casemiro was there for Frankie de Jong. We label, but then Ten Hag ain't labeling these players. You just saw Casemiro play freaking amazing in centre back, mate. Yeah. Like these players are going to come in, and the way this guy clearly wants them to play is Sancho at times is going to play this side. Garnacho sometimes is like, we even sat there thinking, why ain't Garnacho playing on the right side instead of Elanga? Like, this guy is trying numerous things with numerous forwards. Same thing you're going to see with Gakpo. If Gakpo comes in, someone's getting benched, and it ain't that Gakpo one day is going to play in the middle. You're going to see Rashford play in the middle. You're going to see Martial play in the middle. You might even see Martial play on the left. You don't know.
That's just based on his principles. His principles is total football and proactive total football.
Yeah,
and he's blending that in his own way. Ten Hag's blending that in his own way. So players will be interchangeable, like you're saying. I agree with that, man.
But there's one thing you're all missing. I'm just warning people. I just keep warning people. No one listens to me. I said in the summer in our spaces, you were there, Marcel. I was telling people he's gonna like Rashford as a striker. No one believed me or Mr. Ton. They didn't believe us. Now he's playing as a striker. I told him you're going to see players in weird positions. No one believed me. You did say
that on the debate show, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. So bear in mind, and he will have his favourites. Yeah, all you people who don't like managers who have favourites, which is ridiculous. Every manager has favourites. So when Anthony is fit, the right hand side is Anthony's. That's his boy. He paid 92 million for him, or allowed 90. The right hand side is Anthony's. If he's fit, that's his.
Yeah,
so
he's fit.
So it's left wing, it's striker. If Martial's fit, you may, or I may think Sancho's more talented than, say, Garnacho or Rashford. But based on performance and the words that are coming out of Ten Hag's mouth, which is, I need Marcus Rashford to get a new contract, I want him to stay. You're seeing Garnacho playing games. Sancho's in Neverland. Where do you think Gakpo's going to be playing left wing and striker? I don't think he's coming in exclusively to be a striker. That's what I'm trying to say to people. This idea, he's a striker. That's what he's going to be. That's all he's going to be. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. No, he's going to play multiple positions. He's going to play multiple positions. And I'm worried for Sancho.
I'm worried. I'm worried for Sancho. If
Ten Hag loves Marcus Rashford, and now he's getting his Dutch boy from Neverland in Holland. Nah. In Netherlands. Nah. So that's why I'm bringing it upside, because the Man United fans always get blindsided. Ralph Rangnick comes in. Donny's going to play. I said then, yeah, you know he likes athleticism, ability to cover ground, and aggressive players. Go look at the Leipzig group. Look at what they do for central midfielders. He's not going to like Donny there. People were shocked. You're caught off guard. I'm just warning Man United fans. Don't be caught off guard again. Gakpo's not coming in exclusively to be a striker. That's what I'm saying, side.
Yeah. I don't know why you man are worried about Sancho. I don't understand. What's this?
No, I didn't. No, he's talking about the depth that we've got in the team.
Yeah, now. Bro, he can get sold. It's minor. It's light.
I like him though. He's a talent.
I like everyone, but when it comes to this, if you're on it, you're on it. If you're not, thank you very much for your services.
I hear that. It's just a shame. That's all. First, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. It's a shame.
I think we're calling this one too early. I think he has a development phase, and he ends up maybe as a 10 because he's just not as direct as Gakpo, Garnacho, Martial, even Rashford for sure. You know, he's just not got that directness. But what he does have is the ability to connect, play really well, look very good in tight spaces, and that can be utilized as a 10. You know, because he's not aggressive and direct on the ball. So I think, you know, similar to Neymar, you know, started out on the left wing, but you know, once he had to become the man of the team, went into the 10. If Sancho is to become the man in this team, I think he has to develop himself into a 10, and maybe Ten Hag's working on that.
Aminur says, I want Garnacho over Sancho, Rashford, discuss. Again, Garnacho's development is quite early, so I think he will be trialed out. I don't think his name is on the team sheet straight away, but again, he's knocking on the door. He's showing a level of maturity in his game that I didn't expect from him at this early age. So I think for me, I think Rashford's the main man right now. I can't lie to you, even ahead of Anthony in terms of what the manager expects and wants. He loves Rashford. He absolutely, you know what I mean? He just loves what he can give him, and that explosiveness that he gives him is so much. So it's going to be interesting to see the dynamics of this winger's position, because there's a lot of competition now. And obviously the one that we don't have is the strike option. What about João Felix, Marcel? Does that appeal you?
Again, I guess we got to bring in price point, but you know, fantastic player, knows how to dribble, wants to dribble past players. That's a player, when you look at him, that's a £120 million player. You know, he's worth every penny that he got. Very, very good on the ball, fantastic player. I just think, you know, we have to factor in, you know, the financial side of things. And I think that's why Gakpo goes in ahead of him. But you maybe look towards him in the summer, maybe, you know, that when you look at that kind of player, maverick type player, looks like he would wear the number 7 shirt well. But I don't know, a fantastic dribbler. The price point is not there for me. I think that's the only reason why I would say you don't get him. Let's stick to what we're doing right now, which is trying to build the club up and get the exact kind of players that Ten Hag wants. That's how I feel about
it. I think the loan move was about, I think, was it 8 million or something, or 16 million loan?
8 million. 8 million.
Sorry?
8 million.
8 million, yeah. What we saying, Danny? You know what I mean? Because if you're looking at that 7 shirt, Marcel says it's still open. It is a marketable number. It is a number that the Glazers would want to sell. Is it a kind of thing that would be a situation of how other clubs get involved? Because United always do this. When another club's involved, like Arsenal have been, they want to go and get that player rather than they don't see him as a valuable player. They just look at it from a marketable point of view and whatnot. What do you think? Is it a 10 Hag player?
Listen, what that question about a Ten Hag player, I don't know what a Ten Hag player is. The man's mad. Yeah, I don't stop. No one knows what a Ten Hag player is. Stop pretending. The guy's a madman. And I mean that that's a compliment, by the way. Because did they think Rashford was a Ten Hag player? I warned him he might be. No, listen. Anyway, João Felix, why we can't bail out Atletico Madrid? Yeah, he's not a £120 million player anymore. They paid that fee. If you're a £120 million player, you work out anywhere under any football coach. Yeah, how you pay 120 million for someone who's a system player? That, I'm sorry, he's not a £120 million talent. What's his best position? I don't know. Martial, yes, he can dribble, he can pass, he's talented. I don't know what his best position is. You talk to one man, they'll say second striker. I've had some man tell me he's an attacking midfielder. I've had some man tell me he's a false nine. I've had someone tell me he's better off the left wing. What's his best position? What's his best position? If Man United want to
makes him good, though. Is that not what makes him good?
If you want, I've got two. Listen, man, just get me a striker. That's a striker. How hard is it? Sorry, not striker. Get me a centre forward. So there's no deliberation on what type of. Get me a centre forward, a penalty box player who's going to be a beast in the box.
But it's not available. Awesome is not available.
Who's going to make half chances look like good chances. One of the reasons why I didn't want Gakpo, I put this out in October or November, maybe October or September, whenever it was. Yeah, I was like, if we get Gakpo, will we miss out on maybe a striker? What if something happens in Italy and Vlahovic and Martinez become available? I said this months ago, right? But we need to get a midfielder and we need to get this and we need to get that. So we can't spend 100 million on a striker because we went and got a Gakpo and we got other priorities. Lo and behold, Juventus are being Juventus again. They've had another, this happens like every 10 years at Juventus. A board resigns because of some dodgy shit. They're talking Vlahovic is available. They've cooked the books. He might be available. Go get him. Go get a Vlahovic. And I'm not a Vlahovic expert, but if you want a striker, you just go get an actual striker. What's all this hybrid, multifaceted? Why does every position have to have a multifaceted, versatile player? Can we have one football pitch, like a centre back to centre back? Can we have a striker that's a striker? I like João, talented football player. If you're telling me he's coming instead of Gakpo, I'm 100% with it. Go get him instead of Gakpo on loan. Go do that. But as the striker signing,
I can't agree anymore. Like honestly, I can't agree anymore. This thing about, firstly, I can't stand false nine football. I can't stand it. For me, anyways, I can't stand it, bro. It grinds my gears. Bruno and Eriksen have traumatized me with this false nine stuff. Until I see serious, upper echelon false nine football where the forward doesn't get injured, I won't believe in it. I need, in Premier League especially, you have centre backs that are fucking tanks in Newcastle and all of them. You need a big boy striker. You need a striker that can have good aerial threat. You need a striker that can pose a threat from free kicks, from corners, from crosses. You need a striker that can hold off defenders, bring you into play. That's where Rashford flourishes. That's where players like Anthony, Garnacho, Sancho, all of them will flourish. Bruno, you bring in a João Felix, whilst you have a Martial in there as well. Well, what do you do with Bruno then?
What do we do? He goes into as the 8 and he learns to play the Eriksen role.
Okay. So what do you do with Eriksen then? So Eriksen was just a cover-up because he was free.
He's always been there. He becomes part of a winning football team that has competition for places because they're trying to.
But that don't even make sense because last time I checked, the person that can play the ball from deep, but the person, yes, true. But the person that can play the ball, better from deep than Bruno is Eriksen.
Yeah.
So if you ask me, I'm putting Eriksen in there, not Bruno.
You're missing my point. That's not my point. I'm telling you that at top level football, there needs to be competition for places. That's all I'm simply saying. I'm not saying to you that one has to be ahead of the other. I'm simply saying Bruno versus Eriksen every day in training for that number 8 spot next to Casemiro is what Man United should be dreaming of. And then having Maverick and then not dreaming of. Okay, maybe that's the wrong word though, Danny.
You know what I'm dreaming of? This is what I'm dreaming of. No, this is what Man United fans should dream about. Fuck all these. I love Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, I'll big him up because people hate him too much. Fuck Bruno. Fuck Eriksen and all these fucking attacking midfielders. Go buy central midfielders like Real Madrid. Just go buy central midfielders. Do you want to know why? If you just get elite central midfielders, they can fucking play together. None of this fancy sign players. Real Madrid signing players for a distinct brand of pretty football. No, just go get quality players. Valverde's quality. He's completely different to Camavinga, completely different to Tchouaméni. They're just quality players.
But guess what?
The key is, Marcel, they're central midfielders. Next summer, I don't ever want to see Eriksen or Bruno Fernandes anywhere near central midfield. So I don't dream of that. Who's dreaming
guess
of
what,
that?
Danny? Guess
You're
what,
the
Danny?
only person dreaming of that, Marcel.
No, guess what, Danny? Guess what, Danny? And you said it. You're the one. You're the author of this. You just said it, bro. This guy's a madman. You said it. Ten Hag's a madman. So when we throw that into the fire, we don't know this man's capable of producing players that we don't expect. You said it, bro. He's a madman.
That's a good point.
We've got to consider that, bro. And we don't know. And that's why even though I agree with both of what Faz is saying, he wants a strong focal point number 9. I've always believed in that, and I agree that we want Vlahovic as well, bro. But like you said, this guy's a madman, and I believe he plays total football. So if he does get João Felix in, there'll be a specific reason because he's able to play in he's a forward and not a fixed, specialized position. I think though I do agree with you guys at the top of the game. I do agree with you guys though at the top of the game. And what I mean is when Man United are back dominating football matches, we'll have a squad of 18 players competing for first place. And 100%, bro. And we'll have that Vlahovic type focal point number 9. He starts every week, bringing everyone into the play, bagging 20 goals a season.
What doesn't make sense? What doesn't make sense?
When he starts central, where does João Felix drift? Which direction?
What are you talking about? Are you talking about when we get this João Felix in? Or
no, let's just say the way he plays when he's central, where does he drift? You know the answer, Marcel. You're just being difficult. He drifts left. How many players do we need who drift left, who want to be facing forward from the left-hand side of the pitch? How many players do we need? How many? Sancho on the left, Garnacho on the left, Gakpo on the left, Rashford. How many players that drift left and want to see the football pitch do we need? How about we get a football player who's comfortable backing up, looking at his boys? No, I don't want to face forward. I can be facing my goalkeeper, my midfield, my centre-backs, my striker. I'll get you, man, involved, and I'll get my arse in the penalty box.
100% agree with you. 100% agree with you. I've been saying Harry Kane for the longest time. I've been saying Harry Kane for the longest time. I'm also understanding what you're saying in terms of guys are mad. Before my agenda of Harry Kane, and I think Vlahovic is the new one for me. I would like to see Vlahovic in.
You know, we need a killer.
Got that focal point 9. But I understand that if Ten Hag comes in, he'll know how to utilize him. That's all I'm saying. If Ten Hag comes in, if João Felix comes in, he'll know how to utilize him.
Look, let me be clear before people get onto me. Let me be clear before people get onto me. João Felix over Gakpo, and just get me a striker. Sorry, not striker, centre forward. That's it. That's what.
How much is all that costing?
That's not my problem. I don't work for
if you give a range. No, but you have to give a range.
No, listen. If we got Champions League football, this is how I'm a madman as well. This is why I fucked with Ten Hag. I knew Ten Hag was a madman before he came in, and I advocated for him being the Man United manager. So I'm a madman too. If we were going to blow 200 million on one central midfielder that was world class and a striker that was world class, I would do it. I would back the club to do it. I don't care because I know the impact of a world class central midfielder. I know the impact of a world class striker. We haven't had a world class since Robin van Persie.
That's true,
and he was world class for one season. So you want to go further back than him? Was Berbatov actually world class? How far back do you want to go? We can get into this. So just get me an elite. I think Man United fans have forgotten what an elite striker can
Do
do.
you think there's an elite striker out there apart from Kane?
But yeah, that's exactly Said. Said's got it there, guys. What has the striker market?
Okay, fine. Go get Kane.
Listen, I get slaughtered. I get slaughtered for that.
Go get Vlahovic. I don't care what happened in the World Cup.
Get Vlahovic. I agree with you. Get Vlahovic. Get Vlahovic. I 100% agree.
But you know, look, you have to consider this man publicly says that Bruno is his captain, right? I had a conspiracy theory that Bruno Fernandes might get sold, but I'm like, and this was early on, but then I'm seeing Bruno with the armband. I'm constantly seeing Bruno this, Bruno that. I'm seeing Bruno in the Athletic, Bruno talking about the manager. I'm thinking, wow, this guy actually loves Bruno Fernandes quite a bit. He loves his work rate. This guy loves, work rate from players, aggressive players. Lisandro Martinez aggressive, Anthony aggressive, Casemiro aggressive, Bruno aggressive. I'm thinking, well, okay, if Bruno's not going to be sitting on the bench, it's not happening. So then if you get Felix, Bruno has to drop in deeper. Is Bruno wants to, Bruno, we say, push him to the right. So there's one player that you can push him to the right, considering how many players are pushed to the left. But then what do you do with Eriksen? Is Eriksen comfortable with sitting on the bench? Someone has to be comfortable sitting on the bench. If you ask me, I am more than happy to accept Eriksen on the bench because that's a fantastic player. No, regardless, he is a fantastic player and on free. But my concern is Bruno and Eriksen. If you match output to output, it's gonna be Eriksen who's gonna outdo him because majority of the times, Eriksen, even though he won't give you the defensive duties, when Eriksen makes them passes, it's unbelievable. Bruno cannot match Eriksen's passes. Bruno cannot. From deep anyways. It's
not a deep line, deep line playmaker. Let me just read this super chat here from big up to my guy Smokey.
Passes that Eriksen gets is it's crazy.
Yeah, no, you know what? I'll be honest with you. Eriksen's, you know what I mean, in terms of his midfield ability, I think he does a lot of mistakes that a lot of people don't call him on. I do see it. I'm not gonna lie to you. But I do think when you don't have him in a team, we miss a lot. And a lot of creativity.
We miss Bruno more than Eriksen. We miss Bruno way more.
No. I know that, but listen, let me just read the super chat here. Big up to Smokey Settings. He says, man could have scared Samaka or Osimhen, but he said Kane, you know, Marcel, my brother, is close to retiring than being elite.
So I hear you, Smokey. I hear exactly what you're saying, but we were talking about the attributes and style of a footballer. So all of those are focal point. Maybe Skamaka's a bit more of a hybrid, but Osimhen is definitely in that list. I can agree with you. But and Osimhen is not, when we're talking about the context of the striker market, Osimhen's not there yet. He's not an elite guaranteed. He could still fail. Whereas Harry Kane is in a stage where you can place the expectation of 20 to 25 goals a season on him, and he delivers. There's proven history of that inside the Premier League. Osimhen is still a gamble. And when you put that into context of where we are right now, we want guaranteed, or that's what we were trying to suggest earlier when we talk about that topic. That's all I'm saying, Smokey Settings. When you think about it, Harry Kane, and he's not 32, over exaggeration, like a lot of people do. He's 30 or 31. You still get 4 years out of him. Check Benza winning the Ballon d'Or. I'm not saying he's Ballon d'Or-esque or Ballon d'Or bound, but you can still expect top football out of a
Marcel, don't pander to that guy. In the Premier League, Harry Kane's elite. Like, you man can listen. Run your agenda on Harry Kane not being world class because he missed that penalty for England. In the Premier League, the guy's fucking elite. He's durable, guarantees you 30 plus games and 20 plus goals. You as a Manchester United fan are not in a position to shit on Harry Kane. You haven't had a centre forward be as consistent as him and deliver to his standard since fucking Ruud van Nistelrooy. Man United, you Man United fans, I can tell that guy's young. Nobody our age will disrespect a consistent striker.
You can't.
For Schumacher at West Ham, you want to disrespect Harry Kane for Schumacher? Get out of here with that nonsense.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this.
Maybe it's a principle.
Let me ask you guys this. Let me ask you the quick question, because this Felix thing annoys me more than anything. I love João Felix. I love him as a player, but it's high risk, high reward. And if the risks don't pay you off, you're fucked. And you're in a situation where you've paid 100 million for a player, and you're looking like a donkey in the market yet again. How about Frankie de Jong or Felix? Because last time I checked, we ain't got ball carrying midfield. We ain't got no one that can carry the ball. No one's carrying the ball. We're doing ping pong in the midfield. We're doing ping. The ball is still going from left to right, left to right. You saw that against Everton. Ball is still going left to right, left to right. We ain't got a ball carrier. We ain't got someone who can dribble.
What about Ivan Toney? I mean, Noel says Ivan Toney, but obviously with him, he's obviously. We need to find out what's going on with his case.
Would you be shameless? Would you be shameless and go Frankie de Jong again in summer?
I would. Quickly on this, I would only take if we sold Martial and got Toney and Mitrovic, I'd be down for that. But I'm an old man. So as an old man, and again, you young kids will forget, I know what it's like having two strikers and what that does for your team. When you've got two strikers you can rely on. You get Ivan Toney and Mitrovic and get Martial out of here. And Ivan Toney by himself, no, he won't live up to it. He won't live up to the expectation. So that's true.
Two strikers, and I do think they'll be happy to because they're fighting for one position. I guess it means that they may hopefully improve their level, but I just don't. We need mobile. He wants proactive, so I think Osimhen's a little bit more proactive, and then hopefully can fulfill the potential of those two type of players because he's a little bit younger than them. That's a bit more of a focal point. You still get the focal point, strong, aggressive in the box like Mitrovic, and you still get the silky he's not as good on the ball as Ivan Toney, but the link up play and things like that, the energy, the pressing. So Osimhen's someone to look at, and plus the age as well. I think that's a bet. And then in terms of the Frankie de Jong thing, though, Faz, I think we have to drop that one now. I think there's so many players in world football, but even though Ten Hag is a madman, I agree with that narrative. So I think, and he's very obsessive on his players, like we were saying before. He's literally just trying to carry out that summer shopping list. Literally, that's what he's doing because he's so focused on his talent and what he's trying to acquire for the team. So we maybe do go for him again, but why not Enzo Fernandes? You know, fantastic player, golden ball winner at the World Cup. Every single game consistent.
Vitinha is good as well. Vitinha is fantastic.
Yeah, we might be able to go back in for him. He's not really been deployed PSG right now, so we never know with that one. Like I said, it just depends on the summer and what. With the De Jong one, I think it's a story that's not finished yet. But then again, Enzo, Frankie De Jong, it's going to be one or the other. Even though I think De Jong, they're different players as well. Because
or Jude Bellingham.
Jude Bellingham could be
depending on what happens. You know,
Edward would say Martial and Vlahovic. Again,
we haven't even considered. Gonçalo Ramos.
Shout out to Edward. Yeah. I'd take Woodward back for one summer just to get Mbappe.
Yeah, he's one of my members now. He's gonna start messaging me saying, "Yo, Faz, I'm onto something."
Big up to HKM Music. Said Ten Hag favorite attackers are Rashford and Martial. He ain't selling either. Sancho goes before them. If let's say Sancho, yeah. Listen, I don't want to say we're selling him, but just hypothetical. How much would we get for him, Marcel?
Sancho.
I mean, this is just hypothetical. If United were, if Ten Hag made that ruthless approach, said, you know what, if I'm getting Gakpo in, got Garnacho there, Rashford, Anthony, Amad Diallo's coming back as well. How much would you get for Sancho?
I think it's not going to be the 70s, 80s that it was before. I think it might be 50s, 60s now. But his marketability is not there anymore in terms of FIFA cover and all that kind of stuff. And it was like, he's not playing the best that he can do right now. So maybe that affects the price. I don't know. But I would say it's going to be less in terms of his footballing, ability right now, what he's able to do on the pitch. He hasn't been on the pitch, so I don't think that strikes anyone as a good asset to bring to the team at the moment.
Not even the English, anything like that, the English tax. The English tax.
I think that still only brings it to a mere 50-60 mil right now, currently, as we're talking.
It's a big 6 months for him, and I think Daniel as well, Martial as well, because again, you know what I mean, if he doesn't deliver and give us the goals that we need, because at the end of the day, it's only him that's available striker-wise right now. We could get some money over there, but sometimes you have to make ruthless decisions. And if the new owners come in and they look at it and they think, we've got a lot of players here, we might have to shift people and we'll have new directors. This will be new decisions that the club will have to make. This won't be a case of Woodward. It might be out of Ten Hag's hands. What if we get a director that wants full control and doesn't give the manager control? What if that happens? Because you never know. New owners could bring them situations. We don't know yet, do we?
I mean, that's. I'm not going to run that agenda again. I'm going to drop the Enrique agenda for the time being in it. But if new owners come in, this is what I can't. It's weird, isn't it? If Arnold and Murta go, which you'd expect to happen, the advocates for Ten Hag that are letting him steer the ship are gone. So the premise that he took the job on doesn't exist anymore. He took the job knowing these people were going to back him, and he'd have people forget when we announced the technical structure of Murta. People always forget this. A lot of people are upset because the Athletic were clear in that structure. Oli is equal to Murta, if he wants to be. Just Oli didn't have the mentality, or he just deferred to people. Ten Hag's got a strong personality. He's not deferring to nobody. The structure literally says he has the same power as Murta. Man United fans have short memories. They've forgotten this, right? So new owners come in, new structure. Nah, you just coach. You just coach. We're going to go and get in a Michael Zorc who used to work at Dortmund. Maybe somebody else. Maybe, I don't know, whoever. We're going to go get somebody else in. Michael
PSG Edwards. Guy, because they're getting new owners. PSG getting new owners.
I mentioned Ralph Rangnick's name to me.
No, PSG.
Maybe you go and maybe you get maybe you get Michael Edwards from Liverpool. Whoever it is,
I would take Ralph Rangnick in a heartbeat.
No,
I
you
would
wouldn't.
put his face. I would put his face up there. You crazy?
No, you wouldn't. You're delusional.
Upstairs. I'm taking Ralph Rangnick. I'm taking him. I'm sorry.
Over Michael Zook. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Let me just read this super chat here. Big up to Smoky Settings, man. Big up to anybody sending a super chat today. Big up to everybody who's locked in. Nearly 600 is in the chat. Make sure you smash the like button, people. He says Osimhen has 9 goals in 11 games in Serie A, best defensive league other than the Premier League. How can you say he's not proven? 14 goals last season through injury. So again, Smokey wants a little bit more respect on Osimhen. I think he's a real possibility, but I don't know how much he's willing to leave Napoli. They might win the league this year. It's like Leao, man. The Serie A's rep is getting better, man. It's not the place where you want to leave so soon. And I think that's a testament to the way the competitive now the Serie A has become. So I don't know of the possibility of Osimhen. Vlahovic is one to look out for because of the fact that Juve is positioning now in terms of, obviously, if they go get relegated, something might happen over there. We don't know yet. It's very, very up and down over there. But in terms of, for me, like I said, you know what I mean, Marcel, if we do get sporting director who's ruthless, he might make ruthless decisions. So, you know what I mean? Our spending, you know, Liverpool celebrate net spend and all that. You know what I mean? United net spend and selling players and then buying and then doing what, and you know.
Yep, agree with you. It's better the devil you do know than the devil you don't know, and that's a massive fact at the end of the day. But I feel like Mertens given Ten Hag the confidence. He's come out and said, "Listen, investment's coming." I think that's just positive. That's just the way you should be in terms of running a football club. You should be positive about what's coming in the future, and if we get the right kind of investment in, it doesn't even, I don't care who they are, as long as they want to develop the club properly and just get us back to being the state of the art, best in class in the country. And however they do that, as long as they're doing it to benefit the community as well, women's football and everything that's Man United, then I'm happy to have them here. But like you said, it's a possibility that doesn't happen. But I don't think, you know, savages of management like Ten Hag will become worried about that. I think he's thinking positively. I think he's thinking forwardly, and he'll get the right kind of players in.
Yeah, I'm Nigerian and I'm not sold on Osimhen.
Me too. Yeah. And I look at him, I don't know what it is. I'm terrified he's going to get injured again. Whenever I watch him play, that's just what goes through my mind. I don't know why.
Obviously, the kind of the Gakpo situation, obviously, United are still keen on him. I think the price is set at 45 million. It seems a reasonable price now. When you look at it, Faz, 45 million, reasonable. Let's get this over the line, and then kind of move on. Like I said, I think a lot of people are still not satisfied by Gakpo. He's one of them that will have to kind of prove himself at Old Trafford, and it'll be a difficult one to get over the ground.
I still like him as a player, you know. I like a player that has ability on both feet. He does. He's shown that. He's great in the air as well. He scored a decent goal in the World Cup. But overall, my thing is he's been having a good season overall. And then on top of that, he has the World Cup motivation. And I don't really like going for players when they have World Cup motivation. I'll be honest with you. It's a thing where you always end up getting burnt with World Cup motivated players. They end up coming to your club and you overhype them and then boom. But, you know, I'm just concerned as to if he comes in, there is someone on the left-hand side that has to go. That has to go. It's just too many players on the left-hand side. Someone will have to leave. And my gut instinct and probability is saying, if you're thinking of maths, it's going to be Sancho. If Man United, if Ten Hag especially, is hell-bent on Gakpo and starts smiling when interviewers, journalists are asking him about Gakpo, that clearly means that he is looking to replace Sancho. And he is also looking to filter out some more players and replace some players, basically. I don't think Gakpo is going to be our main man because, you know, he's not that type of player. I don't think Rashford is going to be our main man. By main man, I mean as in a striker. But what I do think is they're going to be expected to do numerous roles, especially the front three, Martial, Rashford, and Thingy. And Gakpo. But I don't mind him. I think he's a decent player. Overall, you can't deny that. He's strong, he's direct, he can hold off players, both feet, great shot from outside, inside the box, aerial threat, knows his positioning. Passing is great. In
Why are
from
you
deep, he
describing
comes
this
in.
complete football player? Who's this guy Gakpo? This is a complete player you're describing.
But this is what just me from what I have seen. Just basic things that I have seen, and I'm like, he is decent. You cannot deny that. And at the price that you have set at 40 million, every 24 hours during the World Cup, his price was going up 10 million. So considering he's 40 odd million, but by the way, is that pounds? If that's pounds as well,
It's pounds,
I don't know. If that's if it's 40 million pounds, I would take him. I would take him. If it doesn't work, I would sell him. That's what I would do. That's what big club would do. Buy him, use him, doesn't work, sell him. If he works, hallelujah, he's now 60, 70, 80 million. Because last time I checked now, what's Lisandro Martinez's price? Man, they were complaining that he was 57 million too much. But last time I checked, Lisandro Martinez is now 80, 90 million, if you ask me. Easy, 70, 80 million. So just go for these type 40, 50 million S players. I wouldn't mind Gakpo. At the start, I had a big agenda against him. But now when I'm thinking, hold on, in a market where Felix is 100 odd, Enzo is 100 odd, if you actually can get Gakpo for 50 odd million, and the guy's actually been clanging and banging this season, and he's strong, his injury record is clean, decent player, no background, no history, nothing like that. Get him, man. Get him.
Marcel, would you play him striker or left wing? Because I stand him. Where would you play him?
Gakpo goes as a striker for me, but again, I just go for that's for me in my personal opinion. But we have to consider Ten Hag'ness. I think the forward line is just it's just a forward line, and all players must be able to understand the roles and responsibilities of a forward line under Ten Hag. So that's that. My opinion is though that he should play up front for me. Just his style, his physical presence. He's the closest thing to a Haller, which was one of Ten Hag's best strikers, or the best version of a striker that he's deployed in football so far that I've seen. So and then you add speed and strength to that and dribbling ability. There's a possibility that he works as a forward. But what I would just say though to that though, Faz, quickly is, what do you mean Sancho's leaving? I don't think Sancho's going to be sold at the expense of Gakpo. I don't think we can connect those two things together. I think that's wrong. I think
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
So do I, because I don't think we should be connecting those two things together. I think you're in a mix of a squad with 6 players fighting for 3 positions. At the top level, that's what you want. 6 players fighting for 3 positions.
Sancho's not thriving fighting for anything.
And I agree with that. And I hold on, and I agree with that.
And that's why if Sancho's not nailing down, if he's not in a position to be undeniable first choice, that I'm sorry, I don't know who that guy is. That's not Jadon Sancho. That's somebody else. Yeah,
and that's why. And I agree with that. I agree with that.
He won't get the best. Those circumstances won't work for him. It's what it is. Listen, Marcel. The reason
I think he goes into 10. I think he goes into 10.
But we're connecting the dots.
Not sure about 10.
We see the snowball effect. Yeah, we see the snowball effect of the signing of Gakpo, and then in the summer, new owners, we get striker. Where's Gakpo going to go? He's going to go left. Martial stays. So it's looking peak for Sancho, whether we like it to or not. That's not us doing it. It's the player. For whatever the reasons why he's out in the wilderness, that's why we're having this conversation. It's not about his talent, right? Yeah. Just for the Sancho stands that might get onto man. In terms of your 10 thing, the 10 Hag's 10 is not a 10. We need to stop using it. We need to stop using the word 10 in Ten Hag's system. Yeah. The 10 don't play like a 10. Another thing I warn people about Said. His 10 don't play like a 10. He's not playing Jose Mourinho, Mesut Ozil 10, Odegaard 10. It's not what Ten Hag's. He's never done that. He didn't do that with
Bruno's everywhere. He plays on the right. He plays in the midfield.
He's not. So when you say Sancho is a 10, like he's playing with and by the way, he's changed things from the start of the season. The midfield 3 is looking more like a midfield 3 these days. Sancho can't play a 10 in the midfield 3. So again, what you're doing is you're reaching for the stars to save the boy. Let the boy save himself. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying Ten Hag's a madman. So he's not going to play the generic 10. And Sancho, to all our minds, doesn't look like the generic 10. So that's 2 connections there.
I've already seen the Ten Hag as the madman. I give you that's a man. You're still reaching for the madman shit. I see what you're trying to do, but you're reaching. He played him right wing. This is the madman of Ten Hag, based on things we've seen. He played him right wing all pre-season, comes into the season, plays him left wing, subs him. His first 9 games in the season, subs Sancho first. 9 games consecutively, by the way. Mm-hmm. Never played and only plays him on the right wing once. That's that's the madman. That's Ten Hag.
And plays him in the 10 as well for a period of time where he started goal creation and he scored goals in European
League areas. 10 position. He didn't start as a 10. there was just fluidity and he floated in, which, by the way,
substitutions that happened that made him reach because of the amount of players that we needed for that game. We were pushing forward to score goals. He gets placed in the 10 position. But then in another Europa League game, he scores coming off the left.
No, but you're talking in the Nicosia game, he was floating. He weren't that. When you say 10, Marcel, like that's not what you know. What I'm saying to you, that's not.
Yeah, I know he's not Ozil. He's not. But that's what I'm trying to say. That adds to my point. This because Ten Hag's the madman, so he's gonna expect the to-do list that a 10 that gets from Ten Hag's very not.
You know what? You're right.
We know
you're right. So
we
now
both know that.
You know what it is? I'm gonna defer to you, but I'm gonna get at you at the same time. Yeah, we're now in unlock Jadon Sancho territory. Here we go again.
Oh, please. Don't use that word, please. Unlock
that word.
I want to sleep at night, man. I want to sleep.
Yeah. Listen, I'm gonna wrap it up now. Anyway, big up to Smokey Settings. He says Gakpo floats out wide. He doesn't stay central.
Hold up, Smokey. Can you do one more super chat? And Merry Christmas to everybody who's watching, by the way. And when he's central, when he floats out wide, which way does he go, left or right?
Oh God.
And obviously, big up to HK Music. Says, why is everyone saying Sancho done? Come on, this kid is mad talent. He needs a reset. That's what Ten Hag's doing now. Let's hope, man. Let's hope. But like I said, he needs to, when he comes in, like Danny said, he needs to hit the ground running because there's competition, man. And this Old Trafford crowd, I tell you what, man, they want explosiveness. They want Beckham and Giggs on that wing. They're not here for technical football. If you think that this Old Trafford crowd loves technical football, they want explosiveness, running down the wing, getting the ball in, and that's all.
Direct. Yeah.
They hate when we pass the ball back side. You can hear the groans in the stands when we just pass the ball back to recycle.
Exactly. They don't like that.
I
This
remember
is not a technical crowd.
Season, I was at the Villarreal game last season, and I can hear us, come on, Sancho, you're supposed to be a winger. Right? That's literally what I'm hearing people behind. You're supposed to be a winger. Why aren't you
man.
I'm like, no. I'm like, is this how they decide everything? Okay.
This is what I'm saying. So to reprogram and to reculturalize the football club, it's not going to happen. So this is why he needs to step up. So let's hope, man. Let's hope. Big up to everybody who's here. I hope everybody has a good Christmas. If you are celebrating, make sure you have a good Christmas. Ed Woodward says here, nobody displacing AM9. Set his legs. Merry Christmas. Listen, Ed Woodman, man, leave Martial alone, man. Leave Martial alone. But big up to everybody who's here. Marcel, man, nice one for coming on, bro. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you every time, man. This was a good group and a really good conversation today, man. So appreciate you all, man. And season's greetings, like I was saying before, to everyone. We're looking now towards the new year. Obviously, Nottingham Forest. Looking forward to going down there and seeing the win. Absolutely, man. Big performance as well needed later on. Danny, man, it's always a pleasure, man. Good to see you back on the channel, man.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me, man. I'm looking. It's weird. I weren't prepared for that Burnley game coming back so quick after a World Cup. But now I wish we were playing on Boxing Day. I'm actually pissed off for not playing on Boxing Day.
I know, same.
I have to wait an extra day to watch Man United again. But I'm looking forward to seeing what Ten Hag does and if we can make top four, man. I think we can make it in it. So
yeah, man. Chelsea are not great, man. And Liverpool.
Yo, I saw a Chelsea 11 yesterday, and I started rubbing my hand. You know the baby. I'm like, is that Chelsea's strongest 11? Listen, we can get top four. Trust me, we can get top four.
We need Newcastle to kind of calm down, man. That's what we need, man. Newcastle need to calm down, man. So listen, big up to him. And obviously Planet Vaz in the building. Make sure you go follow him, man. Big up to Planet Vaz on his YouTube channel. Big up to you for coming on, bro. Appreciate it.
Yeah, always, man. Appreciate you. I'm doing because it's a Christmas, you have to start giving back. Obviously, you saw I started giving back tickets. I'm gonna give back more tickets to people every game as games come. I'm gonna try and do that, but I'm gonna try and I'm doing a stream today. I'm just giving away cash to people playing FIFA. So listen, if you're looking to win some cash and if you've got good thumbs, come and play me on FIFA, man, and win some cash. But yeah, big up to everyone, big up to the community, and big up to you, man. It was a good conversation. You know, the maddest thing is we could probably talk for 3 hours, bro. That's how mad it is. Time goes so quick,
man.
Yeah,
that's what the debate show is.
Yeah, big up to all of you, man.
Absolutely, man. Make sure you guys tune in, man. Like I said, all the schedule for every show will be back, man. So we'll try to do this debate show every Saturday. Now there's no Europa League. We can get it done. So the next one will probably be after the Wolves game. I think it's on New Year's Eve. Is on Saturday, innit? So we'll be back next Saturday, people. Big up to the community. Leave a like on the way out. And make sure you go subscribe to the channel. We're out. Peace.